Joining me now from California is Wang. He's the principal analyst, founder, and chairman of Silicon Valley-based Constellation Research. Always a delight to talk to you, Ray, because I like getting inside your head because you understand all this stuff. Just watching that story there, I mean, I never could have thought of 5G where somebody's sitting there controlling 5 cars. It's kind of mind-boggling. And when you think about this, it's obvious it's going to be a game changer, but I don't think most of us really understand the potential, which seems limitless. Give us an idea of what it's going to do, how the world today is going to change in the 5G world.
You're completely right. This is a game-changing technology, and one of the things is really not just the speed, but the ability to do more than one thing at once. The ability to control not just the ability to see something, control another vehicle, the ability to actually move data along, the ability to capture information and insight. 5G is one of those fundamental technologies. It impacts artificial intelligence, it impacts automation, it impacts robotics, augmented reality, and a lot of new capabilities that are going to be delivered in terms of smart services that consumers are going to be looking for.
And we've been talking about 5G for a while now. So how widespread is the usage of 5G in China right now, and what's the layout worldwide?
It's a great point, right? The leaders in 5G are China, Japan, North Korea, and the United States. But the thing that China has done a great job with is they've actually had the greatest amount of adoption in terms of 5G. We're talking something in the neighborhood of like 200,000 cell sites. We're talking almost 250 million subscribers that are on 5G. So that adoption is happening much more quickly than out in the West. This gives them an advantage in terms of being able to do some of the automation capabilities, and as you saw with the autonomous vehicles that are in production, to be able to create those systems in place.
So you're talking about the advantage. Let's talk about the disadvantages, because we know Huawei has been facing challenges through a concerted effort by the U.S. What's the impact of that in terms of implementation widespread? And will the incoming Biden administration, you think, keep that full court press going, do you think, in the future?
It's a great point. I think one of the challenges with 5G and 5G adoption is there's been an all-out technology war between the U.S. and China. And what's happened is really through a series of patents, through issues of export controls, through a set of restrictions, both the West and the Chinese are entangled in a fight really about 5G dominance and really adoption. One of the challenges for Western companies is their ability to enter the Chinese markets. They're prohibited, and because of that, that's why they're placing export controls. This is why the Biden administration and other leaders around the world are concerned really in terms of the tech dominance, because they want to make sure that there is a fair competition in place. China's leading the way in terms of providing really low-cost 5G capabilities, and that's really where the tussle's at.
And speaking of tussles, this tussle with the Trump administration, I think, is kind of had China refocus things. They're trying to be not so reliant on others in terms of building their own chips and other technology. How's that going?
Well, what's been happening over a period of time is the Trump administration, along with other leaders around the world, have been putting export control restrictions, which means chips, which means access to markets has been restricted. Now, there are two ways to look at this. One, that means China has to become more dependent on themselves and more self-reliant. But on the other hand, what it does is it prevents the international cooperation on standards. And this is where we're going to see some issues, because we're already talking about 6G standards, and we haven't even fully deployed 5G. There's a battle already about 6G, and there's also even a battle about standards in space. And so we see that coming out in the near future.